The year was 2147. Earth was still alive, but it was tired. Tall metal cities covered the land. The sky was always gray. People moved fast, spoke little, and trusted no one. Wars between corporations had ended years ago, but the damage stayed. Jobs were few. Hope was less. Ethan Cross flew alone. He was a cargo pilot, one of the best, but also one of the quietest. He lived in his ship more than on any planet. His ship, the Silent Hawk, was old, but strong. Like Ethan, it had survived many things. Ethan did not talk about his past. He did not need to. The empty space around him was enough company. He took jobs, delivered cargo, and got paid. No questions. No attachments. That was how he survived. One night, while docked at a broken space station near Earth's edge, Ethan received a message. It did not come through the public network. It was direct, private, secure. The screen showed only one line at first: high pay delivery. Immediate acceptance required. Ethan leaned back in his seat. High pay jobs were rare now. And dangerous. He tapped the screen. More text appeared. Deliver the package to coordinates provided. No inspection. No delays. No questions. Payment: 5 million credits. Ethan stared at the number. 5 million credits could buy freedom. A new ship. A new life far from Earth. His instincts warned him. Jobs with rules like these never ended well. Still, he hesitated only for a moment. He pressed accept. The coordinates updated. Pickup location was close too close. An abandoned medical station. Officially shut down after the last war. Ethan sighed and started the engines. An hour later, the Silent Hawk entered the dark docking bay of the station. No lights, no guards. Just silence. Too much silence. Ethan took his blaster and stepped out. The air was cold and smelled of metal and old chemicals. Emergency lights flickered, showing broken walls and old medical signs. At the center of the station was a single container. A black cargo pod. No markings. No warnings. Only a glowing green light showing it was still powered. Ethan scanned it. The scan returned nothing. That's strange, he muttered. Cargo always showed something. Weight, material, life. Signs. This showed nothing. He connected the pod to a hover lift and brought it into his ship. The moment the pod locked into place, his ship's AI spoke. Warning, the AI said calmly. Unknown energy source detected. Ethan frowned. Can you identify it? Negative, the AI replied. Package data encrypted beyond standard levels. Ethan did not like surprises. But the contract was clear. No questions. He sealed the cargo bay and lifted off. As the ship moved into open space, Ethan allowed himself to relax. The hardest part of most jobs was the pickup. After that, it was just distance and time. He set a course toward the delivery coordinates. They were far deep space. Days passed quietly. On the third day, something changed. Ethan was drinking synthesized coffee when a soft sound echoed through the ship. Beep. He froze. Cargo pods did not beep. Another sound followed. A low hum. Then a faint vibration. Ethan rushed to the cargo bay. The green light on the pod was blinking now. Faster. Brighter. Ethan said, "What's happening?" Cryosystem activation detected, the AI replied. Package status changing? Cryo? Ethan whispered. Before he could react, the pod released a sharp hiss. Cold mist poured into the room. Then the pod slowly opened. Inside was not equipment. Not weapons. Not technology. Inside was a small human girl. She lay curled inside the pod, thin and pale, wearing a simple gray suit. Tubes disconnected from her arms as the system shut down. Her eyes opened. They were dark, wide, and full of fear. She looked at Ethan and spoke in a weak voice. "Please," she said, "don't send me back." Ethan stood frozen. This was not cargo. This was not a package. This was a child. In that moment. Far away in space, Ethan Cross realized he had accepted a job that was never meant to be simple. If you are enjoying this story so far, consider subscribing to the channel to continue the journey ahead. And somewhere beyond the stars, unseen systems quietly changed their course locking. Onto the Silent Hawk, Ethan did not move for several seconds. The cargo bay was silent, except for the soft hum of the ship and the slow sound of the pod cooling down. Cold mist floated in the air. The girl inside the pod was breathing fast, her small hands shaking. Ethan lowered his blaster. He had seen many strange things in space: illegal weapons, frozen animals, even human bodies sealed for transport. But never this. Never a living child. I, Ethan said slowly. Lock the cargo bay doors. Confirmed, the AI replied. Doors locked. The girl flinched when she heard the metal sound. Her eyes filled with fear. Please, she said again. They will hurt me. Ethan took a careful step forward. He kept his voice calm. Easy, he said. I'm not going to hurt you. The girl looked at him like she was not sure if she should believe him. Then she nodded slightly. What is your name? Ethan asked. She hesitated. Laya, she said softly. How old are you, Laya? I think 8, she replied. Ethan swallowed. 8 years old. Cryosleep. Illegal transport. This was far worse than he imagined. How did you end up in that pod? He asked. Laya looked down. Her fingers touched the empty tube marks on her arm. They said I was important, she said. But they never said why. Ethan turned away for a moment. His mind was racing. The contract flashed in his memory. No inspection. No questions. Now he understood why. Suddenly, the ship shook lightly. Ethan's eyes snapped up. AI report. Long-range scanners detect a ship entering scan range, the AI said. Military class. Transponder masked. Ethan's heart tightened. Someone was already looking for them. He looked back at Laya. Listen to me, he said. Did anyone tell you where I'm supposed to take you? She nodded slowly. They called it the sanctuary, she said. But it didn't feel safe. Ethan had heard that name before. Not officially. Only in whispers among pilots. Places like that were never good. Another alert sounded. Second ship detected, the AI said. Trajectory aligns with our course. Ethan cursed under his breath. They're tracking us, he said. Laya's face went pale. They found me. Ethan made a decision in that moment. Not a final one, but enough to buy time. AI, he said. Cut main engines. Power down to drift. Are you sure? The AI asked. Yes. The ship went quiet as it drifted into the dark. The tracking ships flew past, scanning empty space. Minutes passed. Then 10. Finally, the AI spoke again. Threat temporarily lost. Ethan let out a slow breath. He turned to Laya. You said they hurt you. Who are they? Laya hugged her knees. The people in white coats, she said. They asked me questions. They tested me. When I cried, they said emotions were a problem. Ethan felt anger rise in his chest. What kind of tests? He asked. Laya looked up at him. They showed me pictures before they happened, she said. And sounds? Before they were made. Ethan froze. You mean, you saw the future? Laya nodded. Not all of it. Just small things. As if to prove it, she suddenly looked toward the door. They are coming back, she said quietly. Ethan turned sharply. I? New threat detected, the AI confirmed. One stealth drone approaching from below. Ethan stared at Laya. She had not guessed. She had known. He ran to the controls and fired countermeasures. The drone exploded silently in the distance. Ethan looked back at the girl with new eyes. "You're not just a package," he said. Laya shook her head. "They said I am a key." That word sent a chill through him. A key to what? Before he could ask more, a secure message flashed on his screen. It was from the same source as before. "You opened the package. That was a mistake. Complete delivery, or you will be terminated." Ethan clenched his fists. He looked at Laya, small, alone, hunted. Then he looked at the stars outside his ship, cold, endless, unforgiving. For the first time in years, Ethan Cross felt something he thought was long gone. Responsibility. And somewhere in deep space, far larger forces began to move, preparing to take back what they believed was never meant to escape. Ethan locked the cockpit door and leaned back in his chair. His hands were steady, but his mind was not. The message on the screen still glowed faintly, like a threat that refused to leave. Complete delivery, or you will be terminated. He erased the message and took a deep breath. Behind him, Laya sat quietly in the small rest area. She watched everything. Her eyes moved from screen to screen, as if she understood more than she said. Ethan turned toward her. "Laya," he said gently, "I need to know the truth." She looked up. "Which truth?" she asked. "All of it," he replied. "Why you are in cryo. Why they are hunting us. Why you can see things before they happen." Laya was silent for a long moment. Then she nodded. "My parents were scientists," she said. "Not like the others." Ethan listened carefully. "They worked on something called the HFY project," Laya continued. "It means hope for you." Ethan frowned. He had heard those words once, long ago, in a closed pilot channel. Most people thought it was just a rumor. What was the project? He asked. Lie touched her chest. "Me." Ethan felt a chill. "They said humans were becoming weak," Laya said. "Too divided. Too slow. They wanted to help humans survive the future." "How?" Ethan asked. "They changed me," Laya said simply. "Before I was born." Ethan stood up slowly. "You were engineered," he said. "Yes," Laya replied, "but not like a machine. My parents said I must still be human. I must feel. I must care." Ethan's jaw tightened. "And the others?" he asked. "They wanted a weapon," Laya said. "Something that obeys. Something that sees the future and never says no." Ethan understood now. That was why her parents were gone. What happened to them? He asked quietly. Laya's voice shook. "They refused to give me away. They tried to hide me. But they were caught." She did not say more. She did not have to. Ethan turned back to the control panel. His ship drifted through open space, but danger was everywhere. I," he said. "Run a deep scan on Laya. Medical only." "Warning," the AI replied. "Scan may reveal classified genetic structures." "Do it," Ethan said. The scan took longer than usual. Finally, the results appeared. Ethan stared at the data. Enhanced neural pathways. Accelerated learning response. Probability prediction clusters. She was not just smart. She was evolving. She's years ahead, Ethan whispered. "Confirmed," the AI said. "Subject displays adaptive human traits beyond current population limits." Ethan looked at Laya again. She was sitting on the floor now, drawing shapes in the dust with her finger. "She's still a child," he said. "Yes," the AI replied. "Which increases anomaly risk." Ethan turned sharply. "Explain." "Emotional bonding may accelerate development," the AI said. "Especially if a protector figure is present." Ethan went quiet. A protector. He had never protected anyone before. Suddenly, The ship alarm screamed. Multiple signatures detected. The AI warned. 3 ships exiting warp. The screen showed them clearly now, black military interceptors. Fast. Armed. They found us, Ethan said. Leia stood up. They always do, she said calmly. Ethan grabbed her hand. Stay behind me. As the enemy ships moved closer, something strange happened. Leia closed her eyes. Turn left, she said softly. Ethan did not ask why. He trusted his instincts and her. He pulled the controls. A second later, a laser blast passed through the space where the ship had been. Now dive. Leia said. Ethan obeyed. Another blast missed them by seconds. Ethan's heart pounded. She was guiding him. You can see it all, can't you? He asked. Leia shook her head. Not all, she said. Only the paths where you protect me. That sentence hit him harder than any weapon. The chase grew intense. Ethan pushed the ship to its limits. Sparks flew. Systems overheated. Finally, he saw it. An old asteroid field. Hold on, he said. They dove into the rocks. The larger military ships could not follow easily. One crashed. Another pulled back. Silence returned. Ethan slowed the ship. They were alive. For now. Ethan looked at Leia. They will never stop. Said, I know, she replied. He knelt in front of her. And listen to me, he said. As long as you are on this ship, no one takes you. Leia smiled slightly. My father said humans are strongest when they choose, she said. Ethan looked out into space. Knowing the choice ahead would cost him everything. And far away, in a hidden station, the leaders of the HFY project watched the data update. Subject escaped. Guardian identified. Recovery phase initiated. The hunt had only just begun. The asteroid field slowly faded behind. The silent hawk. Ethan reduced speed and shut down non-essential systems. The ship was damaged, but still flying. One engine burned hotter than it should. Power was low. They could not keep running forever. Ethan studied the star map. There's an old fuel station nearby, he said. Not official. Might still work. Leia sat quietly beside him. She looked tired now. Her eyes were dull, her shoulders heavy. Using her ability had a cost. Will they find us there? Ethan asked her. Leia closed her eyes for a moment. Yes, she said honestly. But later. That was the best warning he could get. They reached the station hours later. It was a massive metal ring floating alone in space. Half the lights were dead. Old logos of long-dead corporations covered its surface. Ethan docked carefully. AI, external scan, he said. No active life signs detected, the AI replied. However, passive sensors suggest recent energy use. Ethan frowned. So we're not alone. He turned to Leia. Stay close to me, he said. No matter what. She nodded. The station interior was dark and cold. Their footsteps echoed through long, empty halls. Old fuel tanks lined the walls. Ethan connected a fuel line to his ship. That was when the lights came on. Bright. White. Welcome. Ethan Cross. A voice echoed through the station. Ethan raised his blaster. Identity confirmed. The voice continued. Cargo pilot. Former military trainee. No family. No dependents. Ethan felt sick. They knew everything. Metal doors slammed shut behind them. Figures stepped out from the shadows. Bounty. Hunters. 5 of them. Each wore black armor. Each held advanced weapons. The leader stepped forward. His helmet opened, showing a thin smile. You made a mistake, the man said. That girl is worth more than your life. Ethan placed himself in front of Leia. She's not for sale, he said. The man laughed. Everything is. Before Ethan could fire, Leia spoke. 3 seconds, she said quietly. The bounty hunter hesitated. What? Ethan moved. He fired at the fuel line. The blast ruptured the tank. Fuel sprayed into the air. 2 seconds. Ethan threw a charge. 1 second. The explosion filled the hall with fire and smoke. Ethan grabbed Laia and ran. Alarm screamed. The station shook. The bounty hunters shouted in confusion. They reached the ship just as emergency systems failed. Ethan sealed the hatch and launched. Behind them, the fuel station exploded. Breaking into burning pieces, they escaped again. But Ethan knew the truth now. This was no longer about a job. This was a war. He looked at Laia, who was breathing hard. "You saved us," he said. She shook her head. "You chose to protect me." That changed the path. Ethan stared ahead at the stars. Humans had always survived by fighting, but sometimes survival meant standing between the innocent and the darkness was closing in. The silent Hawk drifted in deep space. Engines low, lights dim. Ethan had pushed the ship beyond safe limits. The fuel station explosion had damaged their navigation system. Long-range communication was offline. They were alone again, but this time the silence felt heavier. Ethan sat in the cockpit, staring at the blinking delivery. Coordinates on the screen. They were still active. The contract was still valid. 5 million credits waited for him at the end of that path. Ethan said quietly. "How long until they find us again?" "Based on current pursuit patterns," the AI replied. "Estimated time, 12 hours. 12 hours. Ethan rubbed his face. He looked older than he had days ago. Behind him, Laia sat wrapped in a thermal blanket. She looked small, fragile, like any other child. But she was not like any other child. Ethan turned toward her. "Laia," he said, "if we go to the place they want, what happens to you?" Leah did not answer right away. "They will open me," she said finally. "They will take what they need. I will not be me anymore." Ethan felt something break inside his chest. "That's not living," he said. "No," Laia agreed. "That is ending." Ethan stood and paced the cockpit. His eyes kept drifting back to the screen. Complete delivery. The ship AI spoke again. "New message incoming. Priority level, absolute." The screen lit up. "Ethan Cross," the message read. "You are running out of time. Deliver the asset, and all charges will be erased. Refuse, and every system will hunt you." Below the text, a number appeared. 5 million credits. Ethan laughed bitterly. "They think this is about money." He turned the screen off. Ethan knelt in front of Laia. "Listen to me," he said. "I can still take you there. You would live. For a while. I would be free." Laia looked into his eyes. There was no fear there, only trust. "My father said freedom without choice is not freedom," she said. Those words stayed with him. Ethan stood up slowly and walked back to the controls. His hand hovered over the navigation panel. One button would lock the course to the delivery. Point. Another would erase it. His fingers shook. This was the moment. If he erased the course, there was no turning back. No safe ports. No deals. No future he could see. Just running. Just fighting. Just protecting. AI. Ethan said, his voice steady now. "Open the weapon systems." "Weapon systems are damaged," the AI replied. "Full power will overload the ship. Do it anyway." The AI paused for a fraction of a second. Command acknowledged. The ship's hidden weapons powered up. Warning lights flashed red across the cockpit. Ethan reached out and deleted the delivery. Coordinates. Gone. The contract ended in silence. At that exact moment. Alarm screamed. Multiple warp signatures detected. The AI shouted. "High-density fleet approaching." The screen filled with enemy ships. Not bounty hunters this time. Military carriers. Dozens of them. They brought everything. Ethan whispered. Laya stood beside him. This is where it changes, she said. Ethan looked at her. I can't win this, he said honestly. Laya took his hand. You don't have to win, she said. You just have to choose. Ethan tightened his grip on the controls. Then he did something no one expected. He turned the ship toward the enemy fleet. If humanity was ever going to survive, someone had to say no. And Ethan Cross had made his choice. The enemy fleet filled the stars. Huge carriers. Attack ships. Drones moving like insects in the dark. Their weapons charged, glowing with cold blue light. Ethan did not slow down. He pushed the Silent Hawk forward, straight toward them. Aye, aye, Ethan said, calm but firm. Send an open broadcast on all channels. Broadcasting, the AI replied. Ethan spoke clearly. This is Ethan Cross, he said. You are hunting a child. Whatever you think she is still human. Turn back. For a moment, there was only silence. Then a reply came, cold, mechanical. The asset does not qualify as human. The voice said, stand down. Ethan's jaw tightened. So that's how you sleep at night, he said. Weapons locked on. Evasive maneuvers. Ethan shouted. The ship twisted sharply as the first wave of fire tore through space. Lasers burned past them. One hit the rear hull. Sparks flew. The ship screamed in pain. Hull breach in Sector 3, the AI warned. Ethan fought the controls, sweat on his face. He was outnumbered, outgunned, but he was not alone. Laya stood behind him, her eyes closed. Don't fight them like they expect, she said softly. Ethan glanced at her. Then tell me how. She took a deep breath. Go up, she said. Then cut power. That'll get us killed. Not this time, Laya replied. Ethan trusted her. He pulled the ship upward, straight toward a carrier's shadow, then cut all power. The Silent Hawk went dark. No engines. No heat. No signal. They drifted. Enemy scans passed over them again and again. Nothing. They slipped between two massive ships. Unseen. Ethan powered up suddenly and fired everything he had. A missile struck a carrier's engine. Another hit a command drone. Confusion spread through the fleet. They're firing at each other, Ethan said in disbelief. Leah opened her eyes. Fear creates blind spots, she said, but the victory was short. A new ship arrived, bigger than the others. Different. Command vessel detected. The AI said, This is the source. A face appeared on the screen. A woman in a white uniform. Calm, confident. You are interfering with human progress, she said. Step aside. Ethan shook his head. You're not saving humanity, he said. You're cutting it open. The woman looked at Laya. Come with us, she said gently. You were designed for this. Laya stepped forward. I was born, Laya said. That means I choose. The woman's expression hardened. Fire, she said. A massive beam charged. Ethan pushed the ship forward, placing himself between the beam and Laya. The beam fired. Laya screamed. Time seemed to slow. Something inside Laya broke open, not in pain, but in power. Light burst from her. Not energy. Not fire. Information. The ship system screamed. The enemy fleet froze. Every screen, every channel, every network lit up at once. Laya was broadcasting. She showed them everything. The labs, the tests, the lies, the bodies, the stolen children, across human space. People watched, pilots, workers, soldiers. Parents. The command ship tried to shut it down. Too late. The woman on the screen looked afraid for the cow. First time. You were never meant to do this, she whispered. Laya looked tired, but strong. My parents were right, she said. Humans are strongest when they stand together. The fleet began to pull back. Some ships powered down. Others turned away. The command vessel jumped to warp. Escaping. Silence returned. Ethan slumped in his chair. The ship was barely holding together. He looked at Laya, who collapsed to her knees. He rushed to her side and caught her. "Stay with me," he said. She smiled weakly. "You didn't let go," she said. Ethan held her close as the stars slowly came back into focus. They were still alive. And now the whole human world knew the truth. The fight was no longer just theirs. Humanity had been awakened. The stars were quiet again. The silent hawk moved slowly, its damaged engines humming like a tired heart. Emergency lights filled the cockpit with a soft red glow. Outside, the enemy fleet was gone. Not destroyed, gone by choice. Ethan sat beside Laya, holding her carefully as the ship stabilized. Aye, he said softly. Status. Ship integrity at 40%, the AI replied. However, external threats have withdrawn. No active pursuit detected. Ethan let out a long breath he felt like he had been holding for years. Laya stirred in his arms. Her eyes opened slowly. "You did it," Ethan said. "You told everyone the truth." Laya shook her head weakly. "We did," she said. "You stayed?" Ethan smiled sadly. That was the easy part. Across human space, the broadcast was still spreading. People watched it again and again. The hidden labs. The frozen children. The words "hope for you" twisted into something cruel. Protests erupted on core worlds. Workers shut down factories owned by the corporations involved. Soldiers refused orders. Pilots shared the data freely. For the first time in decades, humans were not divided by profit or fear. They were united by anger and by shame. 2 days later, a signal reached the silent hawk. Not a threat. Not a demand. A request. "This is the Free Colonies Council," a calm voice said. "We are offering asylum. Coordinates attached. We will protect the child." Ethan looked at Laya. "What do you think?" Laya closed her eyes, reaching out not into the future, but into herself. "They will try," she said. "Some will fail. Some will lie. But many will mean it." "That's not very clear," Ethan said. She smiled faintly. "That's humanity." Ethan set a course for the free colonies. The journey was slow. Repairs were hard. Supplies were low. But no one followed them. When they arrived, dozens of ships waited, not warships, but civilian ones. Doctors, engineers, families. They did not come to take Laya. They came to see her. Ethan stood protectively at her side as they docked. A woman stepped forward, unarmed, hands visible. "We don't want to control her," she said. "We want to learn how to never do this again." Laya looked up at Ethan. He nodded. For the first time since she had opened her eyes in that cold pod, Laya stepped onto a station by choice. Months passed. The HFY project was shut down completely. Its leaders were hunted not by soldiers, but by courts, by public judgment, by the people they had tried to control. Ethan stayed. He helped rebuild ships. He trained young pilots. He told his story when asked, and stayed silent when not. Laya grew stronger, not faster. She learned like a child should. She laughed. She argued. She made mistakes. Her abilities did not disappear. But now, they answered to her heart, not to fear. One evening, Ethan and Laya stood by a large window, watching ships leave for new colonies. "Will humans be okay?" Laya asked. Ethan thought for a long time. "We're stubborn," he said. "We mess things up, over and over." Laya waited. "But," Ethan continued, "are also good at standing up when it matters." especially when someone reminds us what we're supposed to be. Leia smiled. You were supposed to deliver me, she said. Ethan laughed quietly. Yeah, worst job I ever took. And the best? She asked. Ethan looked at her. The one where I chose. Far away, new stars were being named. Not after corporations. Not after weapons. But after hope. Ethan Cross had taken a job for money. He finished it by protecting a child. And in doing so, he helped humanity remember something it had almost lost, that the future is not something we build by force, but something we choose to protect.